3 months after I married my former fiancé's uncle, Ethan finally came to me with the ring. "Sophia," he said, "I am, after all, the father of Chloe's baby." Her delicate pregnancy during the first 3 months meant I had to prioritize them. Now that everything's stable, I immediately rushed back from overseas to marry you. I stared at the ruby ring, the same one that had appeared on Chloe's social media feed, and felt only irony. He reached out to take my hand, but I dodged him. "Don't be difficult," he frowned. That day, I was drugged, and Chloe was trying to save me. Ultimately, I wronged her. "Don't worry. She and the baby will never affect your position. I'll marry you in 3 days, and I'll make sure everyone knows you are the only Mrs. Vance I truly love." I pushed away the ring he offered, scoffing coldly. "I don't accept hand-me-downs, and that goes for people, not just things. What's more, I'm already his aunt." Ethan explained earnestly, "I specifically bid for this for you at Sotheby's auction house. You're the first person to own it." In that set of auctioned items, the most valuable was the ruby necklace. The ring was merely an accessory. What a pity! Their first owner was Chloe. Seeing my silence, he frowned slightly. "You're about to marry into the Vance family. It's time you changed that spoiled nature of yours. When's baby is born, they'll even call you Mom." I nearly laughed out loud. What made him think I would still marry him? Even more absurdly, he wanted me to be a mother to the other woman's child? "I won't marry you." I looked him straight in the eye. "I already married Julian. Now, you should call me Aunt." Hearing this, his expression instantly changed, becoming serious. "Sophia, jokes about Uncle aren't something to take lightly. Uncle is currently the head of the Vance family, and he values rules and decorum above all else. I'm not putting you down, but you're merely passable in looks, and Uncle prefers an elegant lady, not an entitled young woman like you." He changed his tone, a hint of triumph in his eyes. "Everyone in Evergreen City knows you've been chasing me for years. Who else could you possibly marry besides me? Besides, the Reed family's finances are in trouble. Who else but the Vance family could bail you out of such a huge financial mess?" Ethan was right. No one but the Vance family could help the Reed family. So, when he abandoned me and stubbornly went overseas with Chloe to see her through her pregnancy, I turned around and registered my marriage with Julian. Initially, Ethan was drugged and slept with Chloe. After he sobered up, he gave me a phone call, his voice frantic. "Sophia, I was set up. I made a mistake, but I've already fired the person involved, and there won't be any further trouble." After 10 years together, I considered it an accident, but I never expected that on the eve of our engagement party, I would witness him passionately kissing Chloe. I stormed in to confront him, but he had a ready excuse. "Chloe is pregnant. I have to take responsibility for her. She's someone you sponsored. You know she's vulnerable and has nowhere to go. She lost her reputation trying to save me. Would I even be human if I abandoned her?" He took a deep breath, adopting a soothing tone. "Sophia, I know this is unfair to you, but Chloe can't handle any stress right now. When her pregnancy is stable, I promise I'll make it up to you." That very night, he took her overseas, missing our engagement party. Now he stood before me, a confident smirk playing on his lips. "All right, I know you're just speaking out of anger. If you didn't want to marry me, why would you still keep that painting?" He gestured towards the painting, "Hero in the Flames." Behind me, this graduation project had once been the sole object of my 10 years of devotion to him. I had always believed the person who rescued me from the fire in the painting was Ethan, until a week ago, when I stumbled upon his journal in Julian's study. It turned out that he was the one who had rushed into the burning building without regard for his own life, and he was also the one who quietly left after placing me in a safe area. Ethan had simply arrived by chance, and I had logically assumed he was my rescuer, and that had cost me a full decade of my genuine devotion. Seeing my silence, he took it as confirmation that he had hit a nerve. "You've liked me since high school. Waiting all these years, wasn't it all to marry me?" His tone was confident. "The baby was an accident. Our families are long-standing family friends, and I promised to take care of you for life when we were children. That promise still stands." Before leaving, he pushed the ring towards me. "Sophia, in 3 days, I'll make sure you marry into the Vance family with all the pomp and splendor you deserve." I didn't want to talk to him anymore. After he left, I immediately told the housekeeper, "Sell the ring and donate the money to a local charity, and if Ethan ever comes here again, tell him to find me at Uncle's house." I carefully packed the painting and sent it to Julian's house via express courier service. Julian's birthday was coming up, and I wanted to give him this painting along with a gift I designed myself. The next day, I went to the mall to pick up the cufflinks. As fate would have it, I ran into Ethan and Chloe. His gaze landed on the gift box in my hand, and a smug smirk played on his lips. Yesterday you were still playing hard to get, and today you're already picking out a wedding gift for me? He took a step closer, his voice laced with feigned tenderness. However, given the Reed family's current situation, there's no need to keep up appearances by buying something so expensive. I love you, not your material possessions. Just be good, and get along with Chloe, and I'll naturally take care of you and the Reed family. The family had already weathered their crisis, and if he truly cared, he wouldn't have waited 3 months to offer help to the Reed family. A flicker of jealousy flashed in Chloe's eyes, who stood beside him. Then she spoke softly, Ethan, the cufflinks in that box look very special. Could I take a closer look? Ethan smiled, looking at me, his tone completely nonchalant. I invested in Chloe's new jewelry design studio. This might give her some inspiration. Sophia, let her see it. I put the gift box away, stating calmly, this gift is only for my husband to open. A faint smile flickered across Ethan's face as he held out his hand. Give it to me. Seeing his smugly triumphant expression, I scoffed. Sorry, you're not my husband. Ethan's face suddenly darkened. Sophia, playing pretend is getting tiresome. Just as I was about to speak, Chloe suddenly stepped forward to grab the box. The moment her fingertips touched it, she shrieked and fell backward. Ethan quickly caught her, glaring at me furiously. You know she's pregnant, yet you still pushed her? I watched the farce with cold eyes. I wouldn't stoop so low as to touch the other woman's child. Hearing this, he immediately reprimanded me sharply. You are absolutely spoiled and overbearing. Once you marry into the Vance family, I'll teach you some rules and decorum. I patted the spot Chloe had touched, saying icily, I told you, I won't marry you, and it's not your place to lecture me. Chloe, in his arms, looked like she was on the verge of tears. Sophia, I know you blame me, but the baby is innocent. And, even if you're upset with him, you shouldn't hurt his feelings like this. If you keep saying these things, he'll actually believe you. Ethan pulled Chloe closer, his eyes fixed on me. Sophia, I've always indulged you. Ever since I knew how you felt about me, I haven't had any other women in my life. Chloe was just an accident, but you keep dwelling on it and saying such hurtful things. Isn't it just because you know I like you? He stared at me, as if he were the one who had suffered an enormous injustice. But I can overlook all of this. As long as you apologize to Chloe right now, I'll still marry you and make you Mrs. Vance. I sponsored her education, and she slept with my fiancé. Now he wanted me to apologize to this ungrateful opportunist? What wishful thinking. I turned to leave, but he grabbed me from behind. Sophia, apologize. In the struggle, the gift box slipped from my hand, and the cufflinks fell to the floor. I ignored everything else, quickly crouched down to pick them up, carefully wiping off the dust. At the same time, Chloe's gasp reached my ears. Ethan, I just saw the initials JL on the back of those cufflinks. Has really found someone else? Instantly, Ethan's eyes turned bloodshot. He clenched his fingers, demanding, who is that person? His voice was loud, attracting many onlookers. I didn't want to cause Julian any trouble, so I retorted, who he is has nothing to do with you. You just need to know that we are over. As soon as I finished speaking, Chloe immediately stepped forward, her voice tearful. Sophia, Ethan only went overseas 3 months ago, and you've already found someone new? You're about to have your wedding. How could you do this to him? Scornful glances came from all directions. She looks decent, but turns out she's a dirty piece of work. Her fiancé just left, and she already found a replacement? If I encountered a woman like this, forget the wedding. I'd kick her out immediately. Ethan abruptly pinned me against the wall, his breath hot as he demanded, you let him touch you? When I was dating Ethan, I always wanted to save myself for our wedding night. So, we never truly consummated our marriage. And Julian hadn't touched me either. On the day we registered our marriage, Julian had already signed a divorce agreement. He said, Sophia, I won't make this public until you're sure. You have the right to change your mind at any time. I met his frantic gaze and smiled softly. Of course. In an instant, he slammed his fist hard against the wall, his eyes bloodshot, chest heaving. Sophia, I was thinking of you constantly overseas, buying you anything good I saw. Now gifts are piled up in our new home, and this is how you treat me? After all these years of our relationship, how could you bear to betray me? I watched the man I had loved for 10 years with cold eyes. He was clearly the one who had an affair with Chloe first. Yet now he was twisting the truth. After a long moment, he suppressed a sob in his throat and said hoarsely, "Never mind. Ultimately, I made the first mistake. I wronged you. No matter what you've done, I won't hold it against you. As long as you never see that man again, I can forgive anything. I will still marry you and make you my Mrs. Vance." He spoke as if to highlight his magnanimity, but I only found it laughable. I pushed him away, intending to leave, but he grabbed me. "For fairness, before we get married, you must go to the hospital for a premarital health checkup to confirm you're not pregnant. After all, our Vance family won't accept a child of uncertain paternity, slap. Before he could finish, I slapped him. Chloe immediately shrieked and lunged forward. "Sophia, Ethan is only looking out for you. If you were carrying another man's illegitimate child, you definitely couldn't marry into the Vance family." Ethan also reacted, shouting angrily, "Sophia, have I spoiled you too much? You will go today, whether you want to or not." With that, he reached out, intending to drag me away by force, but a long, slender hand firmly intercepted his. Julian shielded me behind him, his voice ice-cold. "Ethan, show some respect to your aunt." Ethan's pupils constricted sharply as he looked at the man before him. His face was filled with disbelief. It took him a long moment to come back to his senses. He withdrew his hand, his voice trembling. "Uncle, you just said Sophia was." Julian squeezed my hand tighter, his gaze calm but unequivocal. "Sophia and I registered our marriage 3 months ago. By seniority, you should call her aunt." Chloe gasped, blurting out, "Julian, JL, so that other man was." Realizing her mistake, she quickly clapped a hand over her mouth, but her voice had been loud, and everyone around had heard her. The onlookers around us began to chatter, their whispers like venomous snakes flicking their tongues. "Oh my God, this woman actually hooked up with her fiancé's uncle. Wow, this family must have been cursed for generations to encounter a woman like her. She looks so innocent, but she's actually preying on her own family." Someone even pulled out their cell phone and started a live stream. Shocking, a high society fiancé actually slept with her fiancé's uncle. Is it moral decay or human depravity? Let's find out together. Instantly, Julian stepped half a pace forward, completely shielding me behind him, and simultaneously sent a message to his assistant. Meanwhile, Ethan's face had turned utterly ashen, as if all his strength had been drained. He stared intently at our clasped hands, his voice fractured. "Uncle, how could you both?" In response to his accusation, Julian merely lifted an eyebrow, then he coldly swept his gaze over the crowd, his voice carrying an undeniable authority. "Everyone, these are our family matters. You don't know the full story, so please mind your words and actions. Furthermore, please delete all recorded content and shut down any live streams immediately. Otherwise, in 10 minutes, you will all receive legal notices." At first, some people were still disgruntled, but the mall manager and security guards quickly arrived. They made sure everyone deleted the relevant photos and videos and dispersed the crowd. Julian led me out. As we passed Ethan, his footsteps paused slightly. "No matter how you feel, you shouldn't have put Sophia in such an embarrassing situation. If you want an explanation, meet me tomorrow at the family estate." After we got in the car, Julian handed me a delicate small cake. "It's from that place you often mention. Try it." I had been wondering why, after a week-long business trip, he was at the mall today, but it turned out he had come straight from the airport to buy me a cake. Something inside me suddenly softened. Uncle's love wasn't just words. It was mature, practical, and quietly nurturing. Then, Uncle's voice resonated in my ears again. It was very soft, with a subtle, almost imperceptible tension in his tone. "Sophia, I promised I wouldn't make things public until you were sure. I broke my promise by speaking out in the heat of the moment. However, you still have the right to end this marriage at any time. I need to give the elders of the family an explanation. If you don't want to go back to the family estate tomorrow, I can go alone." Before he could finish, I leaned in and kissed him. The sweet taste of cream melted in my mouth. It made me want to drown in that delicate sweetness. Julian's entire body stiffened. His ears and cheeks instantly flushed crimson. The next day, in the living room of the Vance family estate, the air was so thick it felt like it could be wrung out. Ethan abruptly stood up from the sofa, his usual respect gone from his eyes. his eyes red-rimmed. He pointed at Julian. "Uncle, you knew Sophia and I had an engagement. Yet you stole my love while I was overseas? Is this how an elder should behave?" William tapped his cane, reprimanding him. "Sit down. Is that any way to speak to your uncle? Where are your rules and decorum?" Ethan was about to argue back, but William gave him a look. He grudgingly sat down, then turned to Julian and me, saying gravely, "Julian, Sophia is the daughter-in-law Margaret and I recognized. She and Ethan grew up together. Childhood sweethearts. What you're doing now, I'm afraid, isn't appropriate, is it? The family hasn't heard any news of you two registering your marriage. If you're just humoring Sophia, then explain yourself clearly now. As for Sophia, she's young and naive, so we'll let bygones be bygones. Tomorrow's wedding with Ethan will proceed as planned." Julian squeezed my hand, giving me a reassuring look. Then he calmly took several documents from his briefcase. First, he held up the prominent red marriage certificate, stating clearly and forcefully, "This is Sophia's and my marriage certificate. It bears the official seal and embossed seal. Sophia has been my wife for 3 months now. Her and Ethan's engagement was merely a few joking words between elders, not a genuine engagement. Therefore, she is a free individual, not anyone's fiancé, and she has the freedom to choose. Faced with someone who cheated on her and abandoned her on the eve of their engagement party, her choice not to marry him, and instead choose someone who treats her well, is not wrong. What do you think, William?" Before could reply, Ethan excitedly stood up. "Chloe and I, that was all an accident. As for why I went overseas, I already explained it clearly to Sophia. I was simply fulfilling a father's duty, taking on the responsibility I ought to. The only person I've ever wanted to marry is Sophia." With that, he walked over to me, his voice choked with emotion. "Sophia, I know you only married Uncle out of spite. After all the years of our bond, how could you bear to leave me? I promise you, once Chloe's baby is born, I'll send her away. She'll never appear before you again. Aren't you afraid of pain? You won't have to give birth then. Her child can be raised by you directly. They'll call you Mom. Please don't be angry with me, okay? If you're willing to marry me, I'll do anything." He had made the same promises to me after his one-night stand with Chloe. He said he would never see Chloe again. But what happened in the end? I looked up at him, saying coldly, "Ethan, perhaps your love for me is real, but your love is too cheap. You can have several people in your heart at once. I'm sorry, I can't accept that kind of love." Hearing my refusal, a wave of profound panic washed over Ethan's face. "Sophia, you're the only one I've ever liked. From beginning to end, what do I have to do for you to believe me?" He reached out to grab me, but I pushed him away. William and Margaret watched his pathetic state, furious, and ordered the butler to drag him away. At the same time, Margaret walked up to me. She sat down and said earnestly, "Sophia, I've watched you grow up, and I genuinely like you. Originally, considering your background, there would have been a disparity in marrying into the Vance family, but we saw the deep bond between you and Ethan, so we overlooked those things. Now that you're with Ethan's uncle, outsiders will laugh at you if they find out. After all, it's disregarding moral principles." Before she could finish, Julian interrupted her. It was the first time I had seen him lose his composure. "Margaret, Sophia and I are only 6 years apart. We were both unattached. There's no question of disregarding moral principles here." Seeing this, Margaret chuckled softly. "Julian, Sophia is just acting out of spite towards Ethan. Why are you humoring her?" Julian took my hand, looked down at me, and said firmly, "Margaret, I'm not humoring her. On the contrary, I am very serious." With that, he picked up the remaining documents from the coffee table. "This document is for the trust fund I've set up for her. Whatever choices she makes in the future, her life will be financially secure. This one lists all the properties under my name. They've all been transferred to her. It's the greatest confidence I can give her in this marriage. And this one is my will and testament. If I die, she will inherit my entire estate." Report after report, word after word. They stunned me to the core. It turned out he had considered so much for me without my knowing. The moment our eyes met, I saw the fervent love in his gaze. I squeezed his hand back and looked at Margaret. I stated with conviction, "I'm not acting out of spite. I'm marrying him willingly." Margaret's face instantly darkened. William's face also fell, and after a long moment, he spoke, "Fine. This is ultimately a matter for you younger generation. But to use Vance family assets to set up a trust fund for her without even informing the family first, isn't that a bit disrespectful to me and Margaret? After Henry passed away, Vance was originally taken over by William, but in just a few years, Vance gradually declined, nearly reaching bankruptcy. It was Julian's sole efforts that turned the tide for Vance. Today, Vance is flourishing, and 90% of its current standing is Julian's credit. These family relatives lived comfortably, relying on him, so Julian could indeed disregard them. However, his upbringing and education prevented him from doing so. He squeezed my hand back, saying calmly, "If you have an issue with me using Vance resources, I can acquire the 10% of Vance family shares you hold at market price, and independently hand over 2 subsidiary companies to you. From then on, I will no longer interfere." Hearing this, William's face darkened several shades further. Clearly, his business acumen wasn't enough to manage the company, and Ethan was still green. If they truly divided the family assets with Julian, their branch of the Vance family line would inevitably face decline. Margaret immediately stepped in to smooth things over, saying, "William was just joking with you. After all, Sophia is now considered a member of the Vance family, so it's only right for you to use Vance family resources to help her. You haven't had your wedding yet, have you? Do you need me to inform the rest of the Vance family?" Hearing say this, Ethan completely lost his composure. He broke free from the butler's grasp and rushed over from the sofa. "I haven't agreed yet. As his uncle, how can you steal your nephew's wife?" He blocked me as I tried to leave, pleading tearfully, "Sophia, I was wrong before. I shouldn't have seen Chloe again. Please, give me another chance, okay? I swear, I'll be devoted to you from now on. If you don't want to see Chloe, I'll send her overseas right now, okay?" Just as he finished speaking, his phone rang. Chloe's voice came from the other end. "Ethan, hurry and save me. Something's happened to the baby." Instantly, Ethan, William, and Margaret all tensed up. William's face was grim. "That's a Vance family bloodline. There can't be any mistakes." Ethan looked distressed. After a moment of struggle, he still looked at me apologetically. "Sophia, the baby in Chloe's womb is, after all, my child. I can't abandon her. I promise this will be the last time I see her. I'll arrange everything as quickly as possible. Then, will you give me another chance?" I let out a light laugh and simply said, "Go ahead. Chloe needs you right now." The 3 of them immediately rushed off. See? They were the family that truly cared about each other. Julian took my hand and said softly, "You must be hungry. Let's go home. I'll cook you something delicious." As soon as we arrived home, my cell phone vibrated frantically. Chloe had sent me a barrage of photos. The 3 Vance family members were all hovering around her at the hospital. Ethan was even personally spoon-feeding her soup. Along with them came a few provocative messages. Playing the innocent saint, acting all prim and proper, "You dated Ethan for years and couldn't even get pregnant. You deserve to have your man stolen. Now and his parents care about me the most. You're so envious, aren't you? You didn't cherish Ethan, so just wait and come to my wedding celebration." I scoffed inwardly. What was there to envy about the other woman who had slept her way to the top? I picked up my cell phone and replied, "My trash is your treasure. You 2 are stuck together, so don't go ruining anyone else's lives." After sending it, I blocked and deleted her in one go. After I finished, Julian's dinner was ready. When Enterprises was struggling, he had ruined his stomach from drinking at business functions, so now he rarely ate spicy food. Yet, the table was laden with all my favorite Sichuan dishes. For himself, he only had a bowl of mild savory rice porridge. It was with him that I truly felt what it was like to be loved. After I kissed him yesterday, he immediately locked himself in his study when he got home. There were some things I had originally planned to tell him on his birthday when I gave him his gift. But now I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to waste this precious time. I cleared my throat and spoke solemnly, "Julian, let's talk." At my words, the man across from me instantly froze. Then he grabbed his cell phone and suit jacket, taking 2 steps at a time to reach the front door. Only his lingering voice floated back, "You eat by yourself." I suddenly remembered I have a meeting to attend. We can talk about anything else when I get back. Over the next few days, for some reason, I kept feeling that Julian was avoiding me. He would always come back after I was asleep and leave again before dawn. I couldn't even catch a glimpse of him, let alone express my feelings. On his birthday, I personally went to the entrance of Vance to intercept him. I refused to believe I couldn't see him today. But just as I reached the building downstairs, I saw a conspicuous banner: Julian's wife, Sophia, is shameless. Give me back my husband. Beneath the banner, Chloe, with her visibly swollen belly, was sobbing uncontrollably in front of the cameras. She was pitifully accusing me, that shameless woman, Sophia, cheated on Ethan with his uncle while they were dating. Ethan was heartbroken by her, and after he got together with me, he finally started to recover. We even have a love child now, but this woman is now trying to steal Ethan back, two-timing him. I was supposed to marry Ethan, but she's ruined everything. Not only that, my man is sending me and our child overseas for the sake of that other woman, Sophia. I won't be able to see my husband anymore. I have no other choice but to come here and beg Sophia's legitimate husband to control her and give me and my child some justice. The uninformed crowd was now filled with righteous indignation, cursing profusely. Pa! That shameless tramp, utterly devoid of shame, disregarding moral principles. In ancient times, women like her would be subjected to ancient barbaric punishment. Everyone, let's dox her and make this shameless woman a social pariah. What kind of person bullies a pregnant woman? Today, just demand justice. We're all here to help you. No one can touch you. The angry crowd was out of control. The security guards and managers downstairs at the Enterprise couldn't contain them. Seeing the situation, I immediately called the police. Just as I was about to sneak in through a side entrance, a voice came from behind me. Everyone look, it's her. That woman in the white dress is Sophia. She's the one who harmed me and my baby. Now the baby's father won't even see me, he's been bewitched by that temptress. Instantly, everyone turned to look at me. Some irrational individuals grabbed potted plants from outside and hurled them at me. They cursed as they threw, "You filthy tramp, you dare to show your face after destroying someone's family? You deserve to die a horrible death." Others were rolling up their sleeves, advancing towards me. Security guards quickly reacted and blocked them, and for a moment, the scene was extremely chaotic. Someone quietly slipped behind me, picked up a stone from the flower bed, and threw it at me. Suddenly, I was embraced by a broad chest. Several muffled groans came from above my head, then Julian gently patted me, reassuring me softly, "Don't be afraid. I've already had security reinforced, you won't be harmed. Once the situation is under control, I will make those who slandered you pay the price." It was the first time I had heard such ruthlessness in his voice. Julian had all of the Enterprise's security personnel come down, separating us from the enraged crowd. He also tried to deter Chloe. But she was live streaming, so she showed no fear. She continued to wail and rant, twisting the truth. "Everyone, judge for yourselves. With an other woman like her, how are an orphaned mother and child supposed to survive?" Besides the people on site, netizens in the live stream chat also condemned me. This woman was my college classmate. Back then, I'd see her getting into different luxury cars every day, with men both old and young. I knew she wasn't a good sort. We ran into her at the mall that day. She really is two-timing. It seemed like while that nephew was overseas, she couldn't stand the loneliness and seduced his uncle. And that uncle is actually Mr. Vance, the CEO of Vance. He and that woman are cut from the same cloth. No wonder he silenced us that day, turns out he had something to hide himself. My voice was drowned out by the crowd's condemnation. Julian, after ensuring I was out of danger, immediately had the company issue a statement through its official account. But public opinion intensified, becoming overwhelmingly one-sided, and Vance stock plummeted. Fortunately, the police finally arrived and quickly brought the situation under control. The incident became the top trending topic on local social media. Everyone was avidly discussing the high society drama, denouncing me mercilessly. My parents, who were traveling overseas, heard about it and wanted to return, but I convinced them not to. The next day, the Reed family mansion was vandalized with paint. Ethan called me at this time to apologize. "Sophia, I truly didn't know she would cause such a scene. I tried to explain online, but those netizens all said I was fabricating evidence for you. Worse than that, the netizens were calling us an adulterous couple. But situation is special right now, she's still pregnant. Please don't hold her accountable." I'll make sure to teach her a good lesson and absolutely won't let her harm you again." Before he could finish, I hung up the phone. I didn't want to hear another word. I had posted a timeline online to prove my innocence, but no one believed it. Simply because Julian was Ethan's uncle, they started spreading wild rumors. And because of this relationship, they also spread outrageous rumors about Julian, saying he only liked children. These past few days, I watched Julian deal with everything everywhere, only to come back and comfort me. Even without him saying anything, I knew he was under immense pressure, and his features were etched with exhaustion. His birthday was also ruined by this turmoil. However, a week later, things suddenly took a turn. This turn of events was a devastating blow to Chloe. A surveillance video suddenly surfaced online. It was from the hotel where Ethan had been on a business trip and had relations with Chloe. It turned out Ethan hadn't been set up by anyone. Chloe had drugged him. In the video, she patted her belly. "Baby, Mommy's going to find you a better father. As long as I sleep with this man, we two can live a life of ease." His girlfriend, Sophia, prides herself on her purity and still won't sleep with him. But men his age can only endure so much. Once he tries it, he'll be hooked. At the same time, there was also a paternity test report. The baby in Chloe's womb was not Ethan's. Instantly, the netizens exploded with outrage. Those who had targeted me previously now apologized, and all turned their attention to Chloe, this other woman. She interfered in someone else's relationship and then blamed everyone else. She even used us as pawns. She and that scumbag Ethan are a perfect match. Utterly disgusting. Apparently, Chloe only went to college because Sophia sponsored her. Not only did she steal her boyfriend, but she also repaid kindness with malice. She's an ungrateful opportunist. Even more netizens went to Chloe's residence that very night. Only this time, what they poured was liquid manure. Ethan happened to be there to confront Chloe, and both of them were drenched from head to toe. Not a single clean spot on them. Finally, Chloe slipped, fell, and lost the baby. What a swift retribution. I had just put down my cell phone when a pair of large hands embraced me from behind. The man's warm breath brushed against my ear. "Sophia, don't worry. Everything's been resolved. The hotel's surveillance footage gets overwritten every 3 months, so it took some time to retrieve. I'm sorry you had to go through all that during this period." Yet, all this time, he was the one doing all the hard work, running around, and every time, he'd end up comforting me instead. Mature love truly has a way of nurturing someone. And now, it was time for me to finally tell him how I felt. I turned, gently pushing him onto the sofa, bringing my nose close to his. "Just sit here and wait for me. Don't move. I have something to tell you." His eyes, dark and deep, flashed with a whirlwind of emotions, but his tightly clenched fingertips betrayed his nervousness. I went upstairs and brought down the cufflinks and the painting. I walked over and sat on his lap. Instantly, his body tensed. "These are the cufflinks I designed myself. They were supposed to be your birthday gift, but I didn't expect them to be so many days late. And that painting, my graduation project, was meant for the hero who saved me in high school. But I got the wrong person. It took me 10 years to find the right one." He avoided my gaze, unable to meet my eyes. I reached out, cupping his face and making him meet my eyes. "Why didn't you tell me it was you who saved me?" Julian couldn't bring himself to speak. I could see the fear in his eyes, fear that I would realize his deep feelings. Fear of gossip. Fear of me getting hurt. He didn't answer, but then I leaned in and kissed him. "It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. I know now. From now on, you're not allowed to hide from me anymore. For the past 10 years, the love you only dared to write about in your journal, can you pour all of it out and love me now?" Julian's voice was hoarse, dark emotions swirling in his eyes. "Yes." I pulled the divorce papers from the drawer and, right in front of him, tore them into tiny pieces. "I don't need these. You can love me without reservation, and I'll embrace it wholeheartedly." With those words, I leaned in and kissed him, softly at first. My hands traced over him, letting his last defenses crumble. The gentlemanly facade crumbled, revealing a wild wolf, unrestrained and passionate. In the end, Chloe was sentenced to prison for various charges, including slander. Julian found a way to reclaim William's shares, leaving them to fend for themselves. Years later, when I took my child out to eat, I ran into Ethan working as a server at a restaurant. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is roses and love. sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.